Hey Jeff, so glad you're joining me for lunch today. Bless this kitchen. You bless us with your presence here today. We have Jeff Gamboa. We're going to hear a little bit about Jeff, but we're going to say a prayer now so we can dig in so the food doesn't get cold.
That's good, yep.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Good and gracious God, we come before you today. We ask for your blessing upon this food, upon our conversation. Bless Jeff and Heidi. Bless all those who are struggling today, those who are just joyful to be in your presence, oh Lord. And in a special way, we ask today for peace in this country and to break down the walls of division. And we ask this through your holy and blessed name. Amen.
Amen.
So today we're going to have a little bit of pork, rice, and some beans.
I eat pork. I'm Filipino.
Let me tell you, I would go to some of these parties that the Filipinos have for their big masses.
Yeah.
Delicious.
And
they had this chicken adobo.
that Heidi just made that for the first time, and it, she killed it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that's
Did a good job?
Every Filipino grows up with pork and chicken adobo.
Which I love.
So this is it. This is like growing up. Cheers.
Yeah. Well, cheers. Yeah, so Jeff Gamboa works for Cutco, and we're gonna talk a little bit about his job and what he does and how he is so instrumental with young people and how you've kind of taken that on as a life mission and your vocation in life,
Yeah.
I invited you at the University of Miami, and you gave a great presentation and inspired a lot of them. And so I said, I got to get Jeff on my lunch show here,
Thanks for inviting me.
So dig in and we can talk a little bit. I want to hear about your story, a little bit about your family, and how did you and Heidi decide to move to South Florida? And your wife is, I don't want to jump around, but his wife is also a medical doctor here at Nicholas Children's, and she's busy, no?
Yeah, she's really busy. So I'm from Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah.
And grew up traditional Filipino family, super Catholic. Dad was a Knight of Columbus. We went to Mass, Catholic elementary, middle school, and then, started with Cutco in college. And it took me all the way through. I graduated with them. It took me to South Florida eventually.
So how did you come in contact with them?
With Cutco?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Because even through college.
Yeah, so Cutco is the product, which we're using today, by the way.
Which, thank you
Am
so
I
much.
allowed to plug? Can we do that?
Yeah, do the plug because...
Can we tag Cutco?
Yeah, of course. So, the thing is that he came bearing gifts. So how wonderful that we have a parishioner that comes bearing gifts. So he gave us these nice, beautiful Cutco knives. And this is a company that you work for, and thank you so much.
These are U.S. made, and I'll explain the company a little bit, but these are awesome, guaranteed forever, and hopefully it's a...
Where is Cutco at? Where do they make their knives?
Only in New York, the small town outside, near Buffalo.
Near Buffalo.
So it's a company that employs about 2,000 plus people in the town.
Very nice.
It's awesome. So that's our product, and we'll be using that today. So...
Yeah.
Cutco's a college student recruiting company, so no other company in the country works with more 17 to 23-year-olds. So that's what we do, and it's a sales.
And why? Why was that? Is that something, a philosophy that the company had always?
Yeah, they just targeted a really motivated, hungry for experience workforce.
Yeah.
And so that's what we have. We have a group of young, really excited people who want to get experience, make income, find themselves, in the workforce, see if they are cut out for sales or not. And I started in 1997. I'll show you a picture early. Yeah, I started a while ago. And then I paid my way through school, made my own money. I used to build my resume, applied to all different types of jobs. And then when I graduated...
So you didn't think you were going to stay with Cutco?
Oh no, it was a summer job. And I was doing really well. I was helping to pay for tuition. The experience was awesome. They had management opportunities to move up for experience. And at the time I wanted to be a doctor. So I wanted to get business skills for my own practice. And that turned into I was really good at this. That turned into I really enjoy this. And my dad just said, you got to do what you like.
Yeah.
And graduated from Maryland, University of Maryland. And I took a position with them, and just went up the ranks really quick. And
Well, you're a talented guy, and
Yeah.
you have the smarts and the charisma, so I could see them being very smart to putting you in leadership positions.
it's a family-run type business, so everyone knows everyone. Everyone's starting in high school and college, and of my wedding party, 60% of my wedding party, and then the Filipino tradition is you have sponsors and secondary sponsors. They're all Cutco.
Wow.
Yeah, so they've all known me since I was 19.
So
And
it's like a second family.
Yeah, and from 2000 until 2010, I was running an office and an area, I guess you could say. Then they asked me in 2010 to move to Florida, South Florida. There was a lower performing area, and they said, we want you to move. And at first I was against it. It was, I'm a mama's boy, I'm a daddy's guy. I wanted to be home near my family, and I took the opportunity. And I hated it the first year or so, and then just things started to come together, and then...
And why is that? Like they're trying to get to the Latin America?
Well, they weren't producing down here, and they had a guy that thought they would connect with the South Florida people. And a mentor of mine, his name was Omar, he was right. And he came down here, and I used to come to Miami all the time for vacation, and I loved the culture.
Yeah, Miami's so multicultural and just a different, it's very different.
And you know me, I love to be around the people. So it was just a perfect fit, and so many things came together. And then here we are now, and just it's awesome. You said vocation. I think for me, I get to work with the youth, I influence the youth.
Yeah.
And it's very motivating.
And how does that work? Like, let's say a young person comes from college and they apply for an internship, or
so we do all types of advertising. There's social media, direct mail, and bottom line, we get students who are interested for the work opportunity. They come in for an interview, they go through initial training, and then we teach them sales skills. We teach them how to present themselves, how to talk to a mom, how to professionally present the product. If it's quarantine, we're doing it online. If it's live, I'm at the kitchen with the mom and dad.
Okay.
And we're teaching them how to have adult-like conversations and developing skills. And it's awesome to see someone, for example, who's really shy, and then a month later they can't stop talking. Or someone whose mom said, get off the couch, we need to pitch in for tuition, and then at the end of the summer they're cutting a check to pay for tuition.
Wow.
And then from there, our top people will go into our leadership academy, and that's where I get to get my hands dirty. That's where we're teaching them how to think positive, how to public speak, how to manage their finances. And our goal is through 4 years of college, we're going to be that supplemental education and influence. When they graduate to med school and law schools, they put us on the resume, or they mention the experience for 4 years, and we like to think it helps them stand out as significant.
Of course, that really helps your resume.
So it's great.
Now, do you have an office here in South Florida, or
we have offices all over.
You work at home?
We have offices all over South Florida.
Oh.
My specific office is in Broward County, but we have offices down here. I also am in charge of Puerto Rico, but I am ashamed to say that I'm still aprendiendo, but I'm still, Heidi's fluent.
Yeah.
So I've been down here.
So your wife is fluent, you got to catch up.
She's fluent, she's white. I'm Filipino, and since 2010, I still haven't gotten past, how to order, how to say thank you.
And Filipinos have like a Spanish heritage.
Yeah, so, but they get me. I work with a lot of the Puerto Rican team, and they're just, the Filipinos are like the Puerto Ricans of the Asian community. That's how I think we connect. People say that Filipinos are very much like the Puerto Ricans. So, boisterous, a lot like Cubans too.
Yeah.
All the Caribbeans, so.
Yeah, they have a lot of similar traits, which is good.
And last names.
Yeah, exactly. But, so how did you come to St. Augustine's? Because I love that you and Heidi, I see you at Mass, you're engaged, you're part of a couple of our ministries here. And so how did you, because I know you live in Wynwood, no?
I've lived in Broward County. We live in Midtown. Right near Wynwood. And so I recently was asked to be part of Legatus, which is our Catholic, Catholic CEO group.
Right.
And from there I met you. And it's so funny, Heidi and I were saying for the longest time we've been so transient because of her training. We were doing long distance. We never had a parish. We've connected, St. Gregory the Great in Broward. Down here, St. Francis de Sales on the beach.
Right.
But we didn't have a parish community. And that was one of the things we kept talking about and praying about. And then we went to Legatus, and I was just pumped because I was recommended to Legatus by a business and faith mentor of mine named John. He said, you got to be in Legatus.
Which Legatus, if you don't know, Legatus, it was started by Tom Monahan, and he's the founder of Domino's Pizza. And he has this philosophy, which is so amazing. His philosophy is that if you can form and encourage and just pump up the CEO or the directors, and those people can then influence the people that are working under them, you can really change the culture, especially in a workplace.
For me, I brought it here. Look, so you guys distributed Matthew Kelly's material. So this was
Actually, that was a Christmas gift.
Oh, okay. This was given to me at a time when I was not as strongly practicing faith. I was inside, truly Catholic, raised, but I wasn't practicing as much. And a very Catholic, unbeknownst to me, very Catholic superior in Cutco just said, hey, so what's this for? He said, you're Catholic, right? I said, yeah. He goes, cool. That was it. It wasn't a come to church. It wasn't anything. Right. I read it, and without going through the whole story, in the first 10 pages, I started weeping.
Really?
I was weeping, and I was telling my dad who had passed and all these things, and I said, this was a reason I got this book. So I have like 50 of these at home. And every summer when I work with all the students, if it just comes up, oh, I went to this school. Oh, you went to St. Brendan, or you went to
Columbus, or
whatever.
something.
Yeah. Are you still Catholic? Yeah. And then I'll just pop the book.
Here.
I've given away probably 200 of the books.
Wow.
And then, anyway, to your point.
That's the way to do it, though.
Yeah, the evangelization comes very organically. It's not forced.
Right.
And
can't be.
I think with Legatus, Heidi and I would talk about the fact that for us, we want to be Catholic examples of Catholics thriving in the marketplace and at work. Because when I was in college, I always thought of, if I'm Catholic, I'm in confession 8 hours a day, I'm not out and about, and I just had this different perception of what being Catholic was. And then we want to be positive role models for the youth, right? Like if I'm at home and mom and dad are telling me to go to church, that's one thing. If cool Uncle Jeff and Aunt Heidi take me to church, I think that's a different.
Also, too, where in the workplace, if you're living Christian values
Right.
and you're really an upstanding individual, people will tend to look up to you and say, wow, what is it about this person? And then they find out that you're a man of faith and that you love the Lord and that you're going to Mass. That kind of like starts to rub off, and people are attracted to that.
Yeah, Father, every month when it's not quarantine, Heidi and I, because I work with students all through Florida, so we're at FSU, St. Thomas More, I believe.
St. Thomas More, yeah.
And then at UF, there's the parish up there. So once a month, we'll invite as many of the students who have told us they're Catholic, and we'll do the Jeff and Heidi Mass and then brunch. So if we can have them affiliate, going to Mass is this experience. And watch Jeff and Heidi how they do it, because it's one thing to hear from your mom and dad.
Exactly.
And when mom and dad tell you to clean the room, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
And then we associate it with breaking bread afterwards and eating food and hanging out, and it's been pretty fun. And we take pictures all the time, send it to the parents. The parents are pumped up.
What does Cutco think about that? Do they say anything about
Cutco's
mixing
awesome.
religion?
The great thing about Cutco is that they're pretty much letting you operate the way you want to operate. And I'm not running a sales meeting and doing the sign across in front of the stage, but
right,
people know there's something about it. And I'll mention it here and there. I'll say when my wife and I go to church, and then some people say, hey, well, what do you go to church? And then it's just natural. You don't even have to try.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
because
fun.
That's the whole thing. It's natural.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to force it on anyone.
So I think your question was how we met, or how we got into this whole thing. And I went to my first, Legatus meeting, and you were the chaplain. And I said, I like this priest. We need a priest like that. And then I think you said, more or less, I'm not really recruiting you, but if you don't have a parish, come on down.
Yeah, because I think you said, yeah,
We're shopping.
you know, we're shopping around. We've been to this parish, we've been to this parish.
No,
And
but
I
I
was like,
liked it. You said, well, you're coming here. I'm like, oh, okay.
I go, if you're shopping around, come to St. Augustine's.
And from
be
that
part
moment,
of us.
then we met Michelle, and then we
Yeah.
met the young couple. We're in between. At Legatus, we're the babies. Here, with the young couples,
Right.
we're old. So we're kind of like right there, you know, mentorship and then learning. So it's
Which is great because you and your wife have formed part of like the team and people that we go to. Hey, we're putting on a little marriage retreat or a day of recollection. We'd love for you guys to come. And so that's what it's about.
there's something. Our life has changed. A, when we officially got married, but B, when we found a parish.
Yeah.
That changes everything. When
It
you
does
have
change
a
everything.
parish community that you want to be a part of, even when you're on an Instagram, you know, Father V's on Snapchat, whatever that is, that's funny.
Yeah, I think that's the whole key. I mean, we have parishioners here at St. Augustine that can say, we've been here for 40 years or 50 years, and this has always been my home, and this is where I belong, and there's an attachment to your parish, you know. Because a priest can come and go, but it's the community really that continues to walk with Christ, you know.
And then, you know, people that you know you can go through hard times with and celebrate, and, you know, the stories we've exchanged. And, you know, it's been a long time since I've had our priest on favorites speed dial, which you're on, by the way. You know, and I showed up, I say, hey, do you talk to your priest like this?
That's awesome.
You know, the students, that's a new concept. So you just call your priest, like, what do you talk about?
Yeah.
And I think they think when I call you, I get
You're
on my
gonna go to
knee, I get on
confession or
my
something, yeah.
knees, and I'm doing a rosary when I call you. So, but it's been
That's
quite the
great.
last few years.
And so now Heidi, with being at Nicholas, with the whole COVID thing, has it been kind of crazy or not so much?
I would say I was more concerned than she was,
Right.
because her population, her patients are all younger.
Right.
So she's
So
not
not
really
too many
dealing-
COVID
yeah,
cases.
She's not front line,
Yeah.
but she still has to take precautions. She was doing telehealth for a month and a half, 2 months, and she's got all the masks and the shield. But thank God, everything's
Yeah.
pretty safe.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah. But what's scary is, I think, what's happening to also like people's mental health. That's the part that's getting rocked right now.
Yeah.
You know, kids that have been quarantined, or kids with special needs that need school to get those needs met.
Yeah.
So you hear these stories; they're hard. Like every time we pray at dinner, there's always 1 or 2 stories from Heidi's day of, you know, there's always someone to pray for with the kids.
Does she work long hours?
It depends.
These knives are sharp.
Yeah. Okay. Disclaimer: you got to be careful.
I was gonna say these knives are
Father Chan
very
will cut his
sharp.
finger off. You got to be careful.
I don't want to cut a finger.
It depends. I think she's worked so hard to get to this point in her career, and one of the many things I love about her, she keeps saying, you know, I'm not in it for the money. I mean, she's a doctor. We're blessed. But she's not trying to just do it to create revenue. She says, I'm going to work this schedule, and her reasoning, it's always so heartwarming, is because I want to give really good quality care. I'll do less patients. I'll do it this way.
Yeah, that's
because
very smart.
she wants to connect with the patients, so they love her. I mean, she's newer to the team, but she did her residency down here. So they kind of raised her here at Nicholas when it used to be Miami Children's.
Wow.
Then she left for 3 years for Delaware, and we did long distance for 3 years. That's why we didn't get married till recently. And then when she came back, we got married, and then now they recruited her back to Miami Children's.
And she likes it.
She loves it. It's her family.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who's going to be starting soon in July. He's a parishioner also. He's going to be starting at Nicholas, and we're excited for him to do.
Oh, send her over to Heidi.
Yeah, I want them to meet.
They all take care of each other. And that's what's very unique about that. You can see they all know each other. They all a lot of Cuban influence, right?
Excuse me. And the thing too is that being parishioners of the same parish, it's nice.
Yeah, we were at the one gathering. I don't know what it was. It was outdoor. There were pastelitos outside, and Heidi looked at someone. And she said, and they were both. She was a physician at Nicholas.
Oh wow.
And she goes, I didn't know you're Catholic. She goes, I didn't know you're at this parish. And then they started chatting.
So now they're friends.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How are you with post-COVID?
I'm good,
Like
you know. That's a good question because I need to be careful because just everybody says, but go slow, but I feel great.
Good luck with that with you.
Yeah.
Go slow. Do you know that?
Yeah, good
Do you know
luck
that,
with
how
me.
that works?
Yeah, I don't know how go slow means, but it's been great. I mean, I got COVID in March and tested negative. But I can tell you it's a monster. It's the type of virus that it's not, people say, oh, it's like the flu. It's not like the flu.
Yeah, it'll knock you.
It'll knock you. And it's just a very strange feeling. It's a feeling like a lot of fatigue, fever, headache. So I could, and I did towards the end of it had some not being able to breathe issues.
That's right.
So it is scary. I'm afraid that there's going to be a second wave, or people kind of take their guard down and not. Here at Mass, I think people feel safe. We've done a lot of precautions, the way we're cleaning and sanitizing,
I think so.
Distancing, the way we're receiving communion. So it's been going well.
I think it's been going really well,
Yeah.
and with the video production and.
The only problem, there's in Texas, I don't know if you heard about this, but in Texas, they opened up at the beginning of May. Well, there's already close to, I think there's 4 priests that have COVID and 1 died from it.
Since the reopening?
So that's scary, But I think that if we go slow and we're doing what we're doing, I think that we're going to be okay. We have to remind people just that they can't touch their face and keep washing your hands. And
Yeah, but the gift, and you know this, Father, is through the quarantine and not being able to receive the sacrament and having to do everything online, you really have a newfound appreciation for the host, for getting in line as much as I say, come on, hurry up with this line. I wish I were in line.
Yeah, and just being in the presence of the Lord in the church, because the church was closed.
Yeah.
At least here in this archdiocese, the Archbishop decided that for right now, we needed to close the church because the problem is that you have someone coming and wanting to come and pray, but then you have to spray and sanitize after every single person. That's almost impossible. That's why I haven't been able to open the Adoration Chapel yet.
Because you can't control that, meaning the traffic might be tough, right?
Because let's say it's only one person in the Adoration Chapel, fine. But what if they're in there coughing or sneezing? I have to then be able to sanitize after every single person. I don't know if they leave early.
And do you do that personally?
Well, we closed. We closed the Adoration Chapel. So, but what I'm thinking about doing, and listen to this. If anybody has any feedback, let me know. But yesterday I was walking to my house, and it was 5 o'clock, and I was gonna go get something to eat, and there was such peace in the courtyard, and there was a nice shadow. There wasn't the sun, and I was thinking, you know what? I'm going to open the doors of the Adoration Chapel. I'll put a tape so no one can come in, but open the doors, put some chairs out in the patio, and allow people to come.
And you can space it the way you want.
Right, space it. You're outdoors. It's in the air circulating. I think it's nice. I think I'm going to try it today. And if anybody wants to come, is watching right now,
come on by.
Join me today in the patio. I'm going to open the doors of the Adoration Chapel. But
are you learning anything new about the parish through the quarantine and things you've had to adjust?
Yeah, I think the thing that the thing that I've most learned is that people really miss the Lord and that they love their parish. That's become so evident to me, and that they want to be here and be connected.
Right.
And so that's when I was starting to just try to do all of these things, how can I do things to keep everybody connected?
Yeah, through social media.
Yeah, because if you're watching Mass, I think people, they can watch EWTN, they can watch St. Patrick's Cathedral, but there's something about watching Mass in the same space that you go to every single week, that there's that connection. And so, and I think that's what I learned. I learned that people truly love their parish and they miss being here, you know. But also too, I think that one of the things that I've learned through confession and some of the people that have come in to see me is that this pause button that has allowed us these 9-10 weeks, people have drawn closer to the Lord. And some people wouldn't even say, really? And it's the truth.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible. How did you spend your quarantine? Did you work? Did you go to the office or from home?
Fully virtual. And it just, without all the details, it caused like 5x more work.
Yeah.
But we're blessed. It's panned out really well. We're offering jobs in the worst economy right now to students. So
any silver lining, like more time with your wife and just
people always,
what's silver lining?
You ever hear married couples that say, "How's that going?"
Yeah.
Right. And I always say, "Pretty good."
Pretty good.
Yeah. And maybe because we've known each other for so long, we also got married later. That might be part of it. But virtual mass, I think we've gotten a chance. Like every time the lecture comes up, like I know her.
Yeah.
I've never met her, but I know her. And then when someone changed on Sunday, Heidi goes, "Wait, who's that?" And then of course our music ministry is through the roof. You know that.
Through the roof.
Yeah, I mean,
I just got such great feedback from everybody.
Everyone from the praise and worship to the traditional. Heidi likes praise and worship. I like more traditional.
But he's able to do a little blend of everything.
They kill it. It's so good.
Yeah.
It keeps us engaged for sure.
Yeah, the music ministry has been a blessing.
And then that's why I can't wait at some point when we come back live. There's when you know me, I'm in the front all the time.
Yeah, I like that you take notes during mass. I'm watching.
I learned that. You got to stay engaged.
Yeah, you take notes.
Yeah, but the music ministry live. I mean, I walk out every couple of weeks. I walk out like emotional.
Yeah.
And Heidi knows that too. That we stay all the way till the end to hear the final hymn.
Yeah,
And
it's beautiful.
pretty good.
They really do a great job.
Yeah.
And this weekend was emotional too. People would come up to communion and with tears in their eyes.
Right.
Some people shakenly moved by receiving Jesus for the first time in 10 weeks. You know.
Yeah, I think I'll be like that.
Yeah, I mean it's powerful. Mm-hmm. Powerful.
People love the parish.
They do.
Yeah. Do you remember? Maybe it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, and you at the end of the mass said something to the effect of, "I've been with now St. Augustine how many months? I just want to thank you." And you got a little.
Oh yeah.
You got a little cracked voice. I said, "Oh." What was that mass?
That was my first year anniversary on January 9th. I couldn't believe that it had already been a year. And when I started talking, I remember saying, "Uh-oh, you got to hold it together. You're going to lose it here in front of everybody."
Well, Heidi and I left mass, and I said, "Man, this is the
I'm going to lose it."
It was good.
But I can't believe it's a year and a half now because we're in June now. So I started in 2019 and it's just incredible.
So question, the odds of you staying in Miami because you're local, born and raised Miami guy. You went to Pace, right? You went to Monsignor Pace?
No, I went to school in Central Florida.
Okay. I got it.
When I was the secretary to the Archbishop, I'd go to Monsignor Pace in the morning to celebrate Mass.
I see.
So that's maybe the way you're thinking.
So what are the odds of someone from South Florida, or almost South Florida, presiding? Do you get appointed and you have no choice? Is it like doctors getting matched in residency, or do you say, "I'd like to be in this community"?
No, it's basically what the Archbishop does. He'll send a letter in January to everyone, and it'll say, if anyone's interested in moving or would like a different assignment, send it in. And so people kind of write the letter to the head of the personnel board,
and then they take that.
And they have a committee, and they say, okay, this guy would be a good fit for this place, or maybe this, or sometimes a priest will say, hey, I'd like to maybe be considered for this position because I understand Father so-and-so is retiring or something. But in my case, it was a little different because I wanted to go to Rome to finish my studies. And I had been asking the Archbishop for a couple of years to release me, and so. But then when Monsignor Marin, who was the previous pastor, may he rest in peace, he was a pastor here at St. Augustine, and when he passed away in December of 2018, so December 2018 he dies, And the Archbishop, one day out of the blue, like in those days, you know, in the beginning of, right after, in beginning days of January, he said, I'm going to let you go to Rome. Like, when would you have to go? I'm like, what? I couldn't believe it.
Like out of nowhere?
I was like, out of nowhere. I was like, what? You are? He says, yeah, I'm going to let you go. By when do you need to go? I said, well, I would like to be there August 1st because I want to do that Spanish, the language immersion. And then classes start in September. And he says, all right, I'm going to let you go.
Is it a
He goes,
resignation?
yeah, he's like, get all the paperwork and everything you need, and I'll let you go study. But I need you to do me a favor. I said, uh-oh.
Here it comes.
He goes, yeah, here it comes. And he says, I want you to go to St. Augustine's and stay there till June, and then I'll assign a pastor. But if you could go there, help me out.
Like interim.
Yeah, from January to June, help me out. And so I was like, sure. I was like super excited, you know. And so I came in January. January 9th was the first day here, you know. And then these people did it to me.
Yeah.
They started to get into my heart, and I was like, man, I really like this place.
I mean, you were already...
There's a lot that I could do here.
But you were already aware of the parish through working with...
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so working in the Archbishop's office, I had known about... I've gone to every single parish in the Archdiocese of Miami. I know almost all the priests in the Archdiocese of Miami. But I, you know, you don't ever know the parish itself. You hear most in the Archbishop's office. I used to say that in my office I always wanted to put a sign above my door that said "Complaint Center" because you know, people were calling me not to tell me the beautiful things of a parish, but they were calling to say, "Father so and so did this," or "I need to talk to the Archbishop," or "I need an appointment with the Archbishop because of this." So it was. You know, but you hear about different parishes. I really didn't know much about St. Augustine other than just a little bit, but it was, so I said, yeah, I'll go. I came in and then I saw all the potential and all the beautiful things that were already happening, and I said, you know, I want to be part of this beautiful parish. And so I remember asking the Archbishop, I said, do you think that when I come back from Rome, I can stay at St. Augustine? He's like, no, you've been bugging me to go to Rome, go. You go, I already have someone in mind to go to St. Augustine, so you go. And you go do your thing, you come back. When you come back, we'll sit down and figure out where you want to go or where we're going to put you for, you know, to be pastor. So I was like, okay. I kept on, I did everything for my studies. I did everything I needed for Rome. And then I remember it was during Easter or like Holy Week. I don't remember if it was before Easter or after Easter, but we were at the cathedral for a ceremony. And we were upstairs in the cathedral center. We were just watching TV, waiting for the next ceremony. And I asked him, I said, let me ask you something. I said, if I postpone my studies, could I stay at St. Augustine? He goes, yeah, you want to stay at St. Augustine? It's yours. You can have it.
Just
like that. I was like, and he says, you know, you could postpone your studies and maybe in a year we'll get you an associate. They can, you know, you can train them well and you're comfortable with, and then you can go off and finish and then come back at St. Augustine. But it's been now, like I said, a year and a half. It's once you stop studying, it's so hard to get back into it. You know,
so look at all the great you're doing.
Well, the thing is, like, when am I? So during the quarantine, after I started to feel a little bit better, I started back to doing my paper because I'm doing a paper that I hopefully want to turn into a book on Fulton Sheen. So I've made some good headway and reading and stuff like that. So quarantine had a little bit of a silver lining as well, you know, to do some work and some research. So that's how I got, you know,
and here you are.
Yeah, here I am. Which I'm glad. I don't regret it. I see how God works His mysterious ways. You know that old saying, you tell God your plans, He's just, you know, He's going to laugh.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Good luck with that.
Good luck with that, you know.
Yeah, you just knew when we got here and we came to the first Mass and I saw you, and then I think you don't nod from the altar ever, but you just looked at me and I went, this is good. Like I feel connected to Father, and then I think it was the Thanksgiving. All the
Mass?
parishioners had food after.
Yeah.
And we sat down, and we didn't know anyone. It was on a lot of on the older side.
Right.
And we explained our story, and we said, "Oh, we don't, we're really from home." And then someone grabbed, I don't even know her name. She said, "You're home now." And then Heidi started crying. I started crying.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
But that's how this community is.
Yeah.
It's
Everyone's like that.
yeah, it's a beautiful community. Yeah, I remember that first Mass when you guys came out. That was so great.
It's like, oh, there he is.
So what's your plans for growing in the faith? What do you guys, with marriage now? You're doing marriage, you're doing legatus.
So legatus is a big part of it. We still continue to do our version of ministry with inviting the students to Mass once a month, once we're out of quarantine.
That's excellent.
We do, depending on the program, we really want to get involved with Michelle and young couples.
Yeah.
We've only been able to come to a few events.
Very important.
I think that's a big way for us to give back. Just
Yeah.
to say, okay, we're probably 10 years further than most of the guys.
Yeah.
So we can give some perspective.
And I really want to grow that ministry.
Yeah.
I
It's
really
awesome.
wanna
There
grow
are
it.
awesome people in there.
Yeah.
And there's a good, and we've only been to a few, but I feel connected to all the guys for sure.
I'm gonna get some more water. You're good with
Yeah,
water?
good, thanks. So, Michelle's been just so awesome with setting that up. And,
Yeah.
And the Zoom, what do you call it? Happy hours and the station. We did Stations of the Cross, the videos.
Yeah.
Those went out. So once we get back to Mass, that's the key. We just want to get back to Mass.
Well, that's the key, and the whole thing is how long is this gonna be like, and when can we kind of go back to normalcy in the sense that we can do our ministries and we can come together and people are not afraid to be together, and because that's life. Life is
Right.
not in solitude or in quarantine, but it's about sharing in common and be able to share a meal
Right.
and be in each other's presence and give witness to what Christ has done in our lives.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you feel like with the programs you're running like this and the town hall, are your creative juices flowing for?
Oh, a lot more. Like I have some other ideas. I was talking to Daniel now before. He's a part. Our team. He created Particle. But I was telling him about a project that I'm thinking about doing. But yeah, I got to slow down too because it takes a lot. It takes
Right.
a lot, and you want to do things well, and then you got to see if people are even actually receiving it, or if it's something that they want or need,
Right.
or because it takes a lot of energy.
Right.
And one of the things that I had mentioned to somebody, my interest is not to be, for the whole United States or the world to be watching St. Augustine. My goal has always been for the parish
Right.
to be connected and to know, like this program. This program is so that when they see you and Heidi at church, they say, "Oh, I saw
Yeah.
Jeff on that show and I heard him talking.
Yeah.
Now I know him a little better. He works for Cutco and he's instrumental in how he trains these young people." And that's what the goal of this is. It's really to bring people together, and because it's funny because I think I said that this weekend that I've missed you all. Mm-hmm. You've seen me like every day. Everybody's seen me on TV or through daily Mass, or on Sunday Mass. But I haven't been able to see many
Right.
of you
You're
guys.
speaking to empty pews.
Yeah,
That's
that's the
hard.
saddest thing is sitting there preaching to empty pews. I remember the first Sunday that I was celebrating Mass. It was just an empty church, and I said, I got to hold this together. It was so devastatingly sad to walk out and just empty.
Yeah.
And I said, what is this going to be like? And how long is this going to be like? It was...
But ironically enough, on the other side, it was such a relief for us to. I mean, we've done virtual Mass before in the case that we're traveling.
Right.
But to say, oh, well, okay, it's Father, we know. So that was big for us to say, okay, well, Father's going to do Mass. I didn't even think about, okay, you're presiding to nobody.
Yeah. Well, I was presiding to you at that moment,
That's
right?
right,
That's how
that's
you
right.
feel it, right?
That's it,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a beautiful way of thinking about
I felt
that.
like, okay, this is our Mass.
Yeah.
In a way, we were experiencing it together. And then, of course, the music. We love That's our. We always comment on the music ministry. So props to, or is it?
Props to right here.
Yeah. Shout out to the music ministry. It's second to none. So
it is. St. Augustine's is famous for their beautiful music, just elevating us to and helping us pray. But I'm excited. There's a couple of things that I'm doing for the main church. They're tweaking it, just giving it a little bit of facelift and so I'm doing that this summer. I've met with architects and different people, and soon we're going to have a little rendering so people can see some of the ideas that we're doing.
Nice.
Not going to change the church at all. It's basically just do a little bit of
like aesthetic, like update.
Yeah, just a little update. The floors and
you mentioned
the
that.
pews.
You said that before.
Yeah, the pews are in bad shape. So it's exciting to always, reinvent and make new and make beautiful, because I really believe that for Jesus, it has to be the most beautiful. It can't be, just what's left over. It has to be the most beautiful.
Right.
And St. John Vianney he really truly believed that. St. John Vianney, there's a great book, and maybe I'll recommend it in one of my town halls, but it's probably one of the best books I've ever read on St. John Vianney is by Father Rutler. He's a priest in New York City. But, St. John Vianney had this woman who was in the parish who was very wealthy. And he would buy and have the most beautiful things on the altar, and all of the different things at the altar, and his vestments, and just the most beautiful vessels. And but he lived like a pauper. I mean, had holes in his shoes, and he slept on the floor. He had absolutely nothing for himself. But he was famous to saying, "For me, nothing, but for Jesus, everything, and everything beautiful." Which it should be.
That's
beauty
beautiful.
Attracts people to goodness and truth.
That's right, and the deserved respect given, and awe, right?
Yeah. Well, this cake that we have in front of us.
Okay, here we go.
Here, I'll take your plate.
Okay, thanks, Father.
This cake that we have is my mom made this cake.
Are we gonna?
So props to my mom. She made this little cake here. But it's funny because it's only since quarantine. Quarantine has silver lining. We keep talking about that. So she's making cakes now, and she uses us, the staff, as guinea pigs. She'll send a bunch of.
So this isn't Cuban traditional. This is just straight.
No, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but we'll taste it. It's
probably guava in here.
I don't know what it is, but we're gonna see what it is.
Okay. It looks like a tiramisu.
I don't know, but it's good.
That's pretty awesome.
Vanilla?
Cream cheese.
Cream cheese? I don't know what it is, but it's delicious.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. So, what do you guys eat? Who cooks in your house?
So we try to eat like meal prep Monday through Thursday.
Smart.
So we don't gain
cook
30,
one day,
so
and
we
then
don't gain 30 pounds for quarantine.
But you cook one day and then prep it for the whole week.
And so lunches are taken care of. It's regimented. And then at dinner recently, Heidi's been going on this Filipino cooking bit, which is good for me. So she's calling my mom. She said, "I talked to your brother." So what did you talk to my brother about? And, "Oh, your mom just said." And we're going to the Filipino store in North Miami, and then she's been cooking chicken adobo.
Wow.
Yeah. So probably 2 or 3 times a week. We'll the weekends we'll do Filipino food. In the evenings we'll do meal prep, and sometimes we'll do like a taco night. So
Nice.
Just mix it up. Yeah.
Taco Tuesdays?
Yeah, Taco Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever day we're doing it. So it's been pretty good.
Yeah, I gotta start. Hopefully the gym will open up soon. And
Where do you go? Here?
Here at the University of Miami. So they give us a really great rate for faculty and staff, and since we're part of the chaplaincy with the University of Miami, they give us a really great rate. But I can't wait to start back. But
for the fall, we have a lot of work to do there.
yeah,
Between what we were talking about last time I came,
yeah.
kind of spreading the what do you call it, like campus ministry?
Yeah, so campus ministry is really taken off. Before the whole coronavirus, we were making such headway, and we were hoping to announce an exciting venture that we were going to do on a new piece of a new office that they were looking for us. everything's up in the air right now because of the coronavirus and whether the students are going to come back this fall or not, or hopefully they will. But I know that Father Tran is working very hard, and Michelle also with the campus ministry, and he's away now. He's going to take the month of June and rest, and so
good.
Yeah,
recharge, ready to roll.
I said charge because when I get ready to go for a couple of weeks, I need you to take care of everything.
When's the last time you took a vacation? Like a real one?
Last July, so last year.
Okay. You try to do it annually?
I do one annual, yeah.
Good. You need that.
I think it's good to recharge batteries.
Well, you also took, for the holidays, you took a couple of days off.
Yeah, I do.
And I thought to myself, there's no way he really took off.
And I was sick too. I had the flu. It was really bad.
I remember. It was around the time I spoke.
Yeah, and I said to myself, maybe I had the coronavirus in December because I had a really bad flu, but no.
I remember your throat, nose.
Everything. It was just a really bad flu, but yeah. So I tried to get away in the month of July. I remember when I came back in August last year, a lady greeted me at the door. She was like super nice. She says, "I'm so glad to see you and that you're back." And then she said, it was all in Spanish, and then she says, "It's incredible that you took a month off. Aren't you ashamed of yourself?" or something like that.
Right to you. She went right at it.
And I just said, "Well, I love you. God bless you." Because I wasn't going to say to her, "Listen, I don't even take a day off during the week, okay? So going 7 days a week, celebrating all the masses on Sunday, I'm not complaining, but I can, take a little bit of time in July."
Yeah, you need it. You come back better.
You do, and I think it's necessary. You come back refreshed and with new ideas and re-energized.
I know. When I came back from sabbatical.
That's right. You took a sabbatical.
I was a whole new.
How did that go?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I got closer to my wife, closer to God, just from.
But that's kind of amazing that your company allows that.
Yeah, they support everything. I mean, Father, this summer is my 24th summer with them.
Wow.
And 23rd year. Only company I've ever worked for. So.
And you look too young to be working anywhere for 24 years.
It's the Filipino skin. It's all the lechon.
Now you eat that in New Year's, the lechon?
I mean, any holiday, there's a full pig.
What's your favorite thing about like the Filipino culture?
The energy. We're like Cuban.
But so friendly.
Friendly, super hardworking. And once you know.
And very good Catholics.
It's super strong. And if you know you're Filipino, you're already like, it's called kababayan, which means like from the home, like we're already, oh, you're Filipino, I'll take care of you. My mom, for example, she's been on a prayer brigade 7 days a week at 9 o'clock. Her and her college classmates pray the rosary since quarantine started.
It's beautiful.
So it's heavy. If you go to our house, we have a shrine that might rival the one in the parish. It's like statue of Mary, Santo Niño. So it's all over. For every Filipino family, it's the running joke. It's like you're not a real Filipino household unless you have an altar, like built into the house.
I believe it. There's a very strong Filipino apostolate here in the Archdiocese of Miami.
Right.
And I would always help them with the different events, and if they needed the Archbishop to go. But the two events of their year is the whole Simbang Gabi, which they would have the Archbishop celebrate the closing Mass, and then they have Santo Niño in January, which he would celebrate. And I always loved it because after the Mass, they would have this huge feast, like all this food. And it's embarrassing because they want to take care of the priest and the bishop, so they set up this really nice table.
And you don't eat all that.
All the food is delicious, and then they want us to eat first, and everybody's waiting and watching you. And they're watching you. I'm like, no, you guys eat. I don't want to, But it's that sense of we love our priests, we love our church, we love our faith, and it's so beautiful. And then they put these great shows on.
Oh yeah,
dancing and with traditional.
I grew up with that.
It's so beautiful.
It was so embarrassing doing it growing up, like all the traditional dances. But looking back,
with the sticks.
Do
you know how to do that?
Uh-huh.
You do?
I used to maneuver. Look it up. Tinikling in the Filipino traditional native.
Tinikling.
Yep, and then there's one on the bench where you're dancing, and then
I've seen that.
yeah, I mean that's big, and then church.
Yeah,
Every
and
time.
there was one girl who was a great commentator. She would narrate the whole story of how Christianity came to the Philippines with Queen Juana and how
That's
the
right.
Santo Niño and everything. I mean, it's so beautiful. And the kids would act it out. And I guess it's like part of your tradition that the kids are so involved. And this is how the Catholic faith came to our country.
Oh
you know?
yeah, super strong. I mean, we all grew up.
And I'm sure you'll do that with your kids when you guys have kids.
Yeah, I'll laugh and everything my parents did. Yeah, you know how it is.
Exactly.
No shame.
That's great. Well, I mean, I am just so glad I'm you and Heidi. I'm so thrilled because you're the type of couple that I will suck the juice out because hey, Jeff and Heidi, I need you for this, I need you for that.
And we're at your service. Yes.
Yeah, and it's just exciting to have you guys here. I love when I see you at Mass and so attentive, so prayerful, so engaged, and also just always willing. Hey, what do you need? And how can we help? Heidi and I are here to help you. You know, just count on us, and that's a beautiful thing. That's why when I was like planning this lunch, I said I got to have Jeff on because I want parishioners to see and hear your story, and that's the type of story that we need. You know.
Thank you, Father.
That commitment to the parish. You know?
It's been so awesome. Like I said, our lives changed when we found this parish. And for those of you that are watching that maybe you're maybe not as active, this is my shameless plug to say, find. There's a program, or Michelle will create a program. Shout out to Michelle, where you can feel like you're getting involved and it's organic. You want to be there, and it might be a young couples, it might be a Emmaus, it might be the Ignatian spiritual retreat, but there's going to be something, and it's awesome. It's recharging.
You've been watching.
Yeah, I've been paying attention. I know what's going on.
I can tell.
I know what's going on. But it's been there's a pride when you have a strong. I grew up like this. I grew up in elementary and middle school in Baltimore. Our parish was so strong, and people knew each other, and needed the favor.
You're absolutely
here.
right. Absolutely right. That is how I grew up. I grew up in a small town in Central Florida in Winter Haven. We had one priest the whole time when I was living there,
right.
And everything revolved around our parish. So we were there all the time,
right.
And I remember when I decided to be a priest and I was in the seminary, and I always said if I ever become a priest or if I ever become a pastor, I want to be like my pastor back home.
Right.
He was at every funeral, he was at every mass, he was just there, he would be at the barbecues, at the picnics, and
That's right.
He came to our house, he would have dinner at our house, you know, and it was just, you got to know your priest, and it was like this family where you get to know each other, you know.
And they watched the family, like our pastor baptized several of my siblings, and then presided over our family's funerals, and then every event,
so every life,
everything.
every important moment of the life of the family.
And they just knew, like he would, just like you know what's going on with our lives, so you pull us aside, hey, how's this going? And that's what you want. Anytime someone moves to a new place, I think Matthew Kelly said it, what's the biggest question Catholics ask? What's the best parish? What's the best parish?
Is that right?
What's the best parish when you move somewhere? And we're biased. But
and I'm glad
so
you
come
are.
on over.
And I'm glad you are.
That's the new ministry, the recruitment.
The recruitment. You know, one of the things that we did now is, and also the genius of Michelle too, is we went around all of our neighborhoods. So all the neighborhoods around St. Augustine, we would send them little flyers with little goodie bags. One of the things that we did towards the beginning was that we brought flowers to all of our shut-ins that we were taking communion into, so that we weren't able to visit. We brought them flowers, and just trying to stay connected to this zip code and around this around the church, and it's been successful.
Interesting.
It's been
Are
successful.
you finding people who haven't been coming to Mass?
Yeah, and that's another thing. People have turned on others that are in this area to the live stream Mass, and now they're interested. And I said this last week at the town hall that we've been getting calls even from people who don't have their sacraments or not even Catholic, who are interested in becoming Catholic.
So then RCIA jumps.
There's a silver lining again, you know, of where we've had an outreach where we may not have had it before.
That's good.
Because before COVID-19, we really had no social media presence, St. Augustine. I think our website was like not up to date, and now
it
it's
was
like,
a little outdated.
yeah, it was a little
And now
outdated, and now
it
it's
takes
like
you to
every moment, every
YouTube.
day. Yeah, I'm like
Live.
checking that every day. I'm like,
This is going to be live stream, right?
yeah.
So you have all the
you know,
technology.
so it'll be there. You know, anybody can watch it after this.
That's good.
So it's a tool for evangelization, and if people can see what we're doing and get excited and jump on board, I would love it.
I think because people miss the church so much during quarantine, you'll see more active parishioners. I think you'll see more energy towards, well, let me get involved, or let me maybe go to mass when I wasn't.
Yeah, I agree.
It's exciting.
I agree. Well, Jeff, thank you for having lunch with me
Thanks,
today.
Father. This is awesome.
It's
Thanks,
always
Mom.
great to be with you guys, and I love seeing you at Mass, and you know, keep on doing what you're doing, because you're doing something great for those young people that
Thanks,
you're
Father.
inspiring. We're hearing a lot of great things, and you're gonna go places because you're a superstar. You motivate people, and the most beautiful thing is that you have no shame in saying, "I love Jesus,
Right.
and this is who I am, and my faith is important to me," and that changes hearts.
Amen.
So thanks, Jeff.
Father.
All right, thanks for coming out.
All right, awesome. This was
God
so
bless.
good. Thank
I
you.
hope you like the cake.
I did. I would eat 2 of them. That's the
I
problem.
know.
Can I bring the rest to Heidi? No, she'll get mad if I bring this home.